Good afternoon, South Africa. It's your host again. Sine Winnie Lemon Squeeze. I am your host, Usatemba Makong. I'm not alone. I'm with the former Ajax Cape Town, Supersport United, Bloemfontein Celtics, Nathan Paulse, the Urban Warriors man. Follow us on Facebook. I am Senatemba Makongo. You can get us on Twitter at Makongo TV. Get us on Instagram, Makongo_TV. Get us on WhatsApp 081 395 2152. Subscribe on our YouTube channel, Makongo TV. Nathan, good afternoon, sir.
How are you, my man?
Good. Nathan, I don't know where to start because you've played, I don't know, so many teams. You were even in Sweden. You went in Sweden.
Yes,
you played in Sweden also. But I believe you started with Avo. Was it Avondale where you started?
West End was actually my first club.
Okay. I see, Nathan, you played like 20 years in professional football.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. I don't know how you managed that. You started at the age of 17, right?
Yes.
Now take us through the journey of starting your football and where did you actually grow up as Nathan?
Okay.
Like without football or anything, just telling us about yourself.
Awesome stuff. I grew up in Athlone. I was born there, which is not too far from where we are right now. I come from a household of four kids. I'm the only boy. I'm a twin. My dad is a former school head. He was the head master of Athlone North Primary School. In terms of my home life and upbringing, I come from a good home. My mom and my mom was into church and made sure that we as well as kids had to attend Sunday school and church and all of that. I had a decent upbringing, and I loved playing football since the age of 5. I started playing for my dad's team back in the area, West End United. So that's a brief.
So you say now are you the oldest at home?
No, sorry, I'm the second eldest. So I have a older sister, Carmen. She's now this year she'll be 41. Myself and my twin sister will be 39 next year, and then we have a baby sister, Alice, and she'll be, if I'm right, she'll probably be 20, 27, 26. Sorry, so.
Okay, Nathan. So when did you start this football thing? You started playing for your dad's team.
Yes.
When was it, and how was it when you started? Did you think of maybe one day you'll play as a professional player? Or
honestly, I started playing at the age of 5. As I said, for my dad's team, West End, and then it wasn't until probably the age of, I would say maybe 11, 12, and I remember my dad bought Mnet. At that time it was just Mnet, now it's obviously a lot more fancier, but then I watched the EPL. I used to go with my dad to go and watch Hellenic, Santos, Cape Town Spurs back then in Athlone, when it was still grass banks. Used to go on a weekend, and then I saw it, but I never knew that you could be a soccer player as a job, a pro, until we bought Mnet, and I saw, wow, this guy's playing soccer on TV, and then for me the only dream that I had from that time onwards was that I want to play soccer on TV. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know if I could do it, but the only thought I had as a boy was that I want to be doing what those guys are doing on TV. And then look, I played for my dad's team until the age of about 16, 17, and then I joined Avondale, the under 17 team. And that year I joined them. We had played in the Polar Ice, which is now the Engine Cup. And there I won highest goal scorer, fastest hat-trick, etc. And then I had 3 pro teams approach my dad after the tournament. It was then it was Hellenic, Santos, and Ajax was still, you know, in its very early phases, you know. So yeah, I chose to join Ajax, and that was at the age of 17, 18. I joined them. So yeah, so
Do you have any specific reason of joining Ajax? Why did you join Ajax? Because
yes,
Ajax was still a bit
they were
small.
still new. They were
still new that time.
fresh.
You had Santos that has been there.
Yeah.
So Hellenic also was
Yes.
one of the big teams, but you chose to join Ajax. What was the reason of joining Ajax?
That year, Ajax Amsterdam came
Yeah.
came down. You know, it was a big fanfare. It was, you know, like a festival. You know, and also you must remember at that time, Benny had signed for Amsterdam. You know,
Yeah.
and being from, you know, from town, a local boy, playing for this huge club. You know, I remember them playing in Greenpoint, and you know, I went along with my dad, and I bought a Benny T-shirt, you know, Amsterdam kit on and all that kind of stuff, you know. So, and then I saw him playing for Amsterdam, and I saw the other stars there that was playing for Amsterdam at the time. I think it was Overmars was still playing for them. Who else? Sunday, Olise, he was still playing for them. And for me, as a young 16-year-old, I think, you know, I looked at this and I was like, okay, one day I'm going to play for Ajax, you know, because, you know, they had come with like fancy things, you know, like a world-class field. They had this bigger plan, you know. So for watching me, I was like, you know, I want to join this team. So when the option came to actually join this club who had a world class brand, you know, being Ajax Amsterdam, I was like, you know, I want to join them because they had a good plan, and I'm sure we all know that they at that time, or should we, when they had formed, they had smart fields, they had sponsorship, they had kit and all that kind of stuff. And as a young boy, you like, you know, attracted by, you know, those things. You're like, nah, this is like smart, you know. So yeah, that's why I joined them.
So Nathan, you joining Ajax at that age. Obviously, you're coming from Cape Flats. There's a lot of things.
Yes.
A lot of negative things that are happening around you.
Yeah.
So you've got friends also. So how was it now growing up, knowing exactly that, okay, this is my dream, but this is what is happening in my area. There's gangsters, there's alcohol, there's everything that can distract you. How did you manage to go through that phase?
I had to make a choice very early on. You know, I remember, you know, as you just said, you know, I had friends, and then I still have them. You know, that back then when we were 15, 16, you know, it's a nice time. You were young, you know. There's a weekend vibe, you know. It's you know, braais, and obviously at that age as well, you have friends that experiment with, you know, alcohol and smoking. But you know, I had to make the choice that, look, I mean, I have a dream, you know, and I had to enforce it with him. So an example was that if I knew that I had to play a game on a weekend, then on a Friday night I couldn't sit on a yard until 12 o'clock in the morning, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. I had to make them know that, look guys, I'll be here for about an hour or two, but opposite them, I'm gone. And yes, it was a tough thing because, you know, as a young guy, you know, you want to fit in. You don't want them to say, but you you know, spoiled sport, and every time you want to have a good time, you want to go home. No, I had to tell them, guys, I have a game tomorrow morning, and I have to do well in the game. I didn't know that the reason why was because I'll be approached to be a pro, but I knew that, look, there's certain things that I have to do, you know, to make sure that I'm fresh for that game. And they understood that eventually. And when I turned pro, they, you know, appreciated that, you know, that I stood firm, you know, and didn't give in, because how many boys do we know that every Friday they know they have a game, but they choose to sit on the yard till 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and still expect to go in, you know, have a good game, and it doesn't work like that. So yeah, I had to, you know, choose that.
Nathan Paulse, former ex-Cape Town man, one of the best strikers that you'd ever get in Cape Town. So now, Nathan, as you said now, it was not easy to move away from your friends. And what about school? You must still go to school, and you still must still focus on football. You want both things to they must balance. But
Yes.
because you find out, like most of the players would say, I choose sort of football, not school. So with you, how did you manage to balance both?
Yeah, look at I've been blessed to come from a good environment,
Yeah.
because my dad being a school teacher at that time as well, he always made sure that, look, if you want to play football after school or whenever, you first have to do your home chores and your schoolwork, etc. And it was a reward, So he would make sure that I understood that I first need to do what I need to do, which is schoolwork, and as soon as I'm done with it, then I can go outside and play. And then, yeah, I learned early on that you have to give your side first. You have to put in the effort first, and then you will get the reward. I think boys nowadays expect things to come to them too easy for them putting the effort in, or not doing anything. But it's important to ensure that you do your schoolwork, because I know back then school and sport was not linked.
Yeah.
You as a sportsman, you thought that, okay, but why do I need to do well at school? Because on the football field, you don't have to do a graph or this or that, or use English words or big words. But if you go further in the football and you become a pro, and I learned this, now only, that you as a person, you have to understand a contract. So the only place you learn how to understand those terms and all that kind of stuff, and tax and all kind of stuff, is in school. And that's why some players find it hard to go from being an amateur to being a pro, because they actually don't understand that the side that being in school is important, because it equips you from a human view. How to understand big words, because if you have a coach that explains to you that you must play 3-5-2 and you must overlap, the only place you learn what the word overlap means is in school. So it's important, Yeah.
You've said it all. You've said it all.
Yeah.
Now let's move quickly to when you played for Ajax. Then
Yeah.
you got the under 17 there. Now you're moving up to your first team.
Yes.
What was your debut? When you made your debut, do you still remember the game that
Yes, I remember the game clearly.
Take us through that game. Take us through.
It was in January 2000, if I'm correct. It was at Pam Brink in the Springs.
Yeah.
It was against Orlando Pirates. And it was, remember back then, Orlando Pirates had like senior guys. We're talking about Skosana,
Yeah.
Opara, those like hardened pros, like guys that when they talk to you, they got the deep voice, like you yeah, I like you, or you're young, you like just want to play football, and here I'm playing first game, starting, and I'm playing against this, and they were at that time they were the league champs. In actual fact, they beaten us that game. They beat us 3-0, and for me being there, and remember the stands was packed, my man. I can tell you, I was in awe of them, because at the end of the day, look, you're a young boy, you've just signed a contract like half a year ago, and all of a sudden you've been thrust into this, like a cauldron of like fans of screaming, and you have this like senior guys that's he's mocking you, but he's talking to you the whole game. He's talking to the whole game in your ear. Hey boy, I'm gonna kick you today, boy. And you're looking at this guy like, okay, this guy's been in the game a very long time, and you're just thinking, okay, I wish I can just leave now, because it's intense, but I enjoyed it, It gave me how can I say, a shock, like, okay, if you want to be a pro, you need to be able to handle yourself, not only in terms of being a football player, but in terms of just being there, a character. And I enjoyed it. Unfortunately, as I said, Uh, we got beaten 3-0, but it was a good experience for me.
Now, Nathan, since you've mentioned something about the contract, when you
Yes.
were offered a professional contract, how did you feel when you saw the amount that you're gonna earn? You're still young. They're giving you this amount that you're gonna earn. How does it feel, like knowing that, oh, now I'm gonna earn this amount of money?
Yes.
The feeling of just take us through the feeling.
Yeah.
How did you feel that?
No, look, the reality was that back then you didn't even think about it. You didn't even think, I'm going to be earning this amount. The only thought you had was, wow, I'm being paid to play. That's the only thing I thought. Look,
Yeah.
I had my dad there, so he could, advise me and say, okay, do you want to do this? Do you want to earn this amount? Etc. You must also understand that back then, pro football was not as advanced as it is now, where people are aware how much the players earn. Back then, my dad didn't know how much a player must earn. I didn't know, so I came into this like, okay, I remember my first contract. I was being paid as an apprentice. I was being paid 250 rand a month, not as a pro. Then when I signed my first pro deal, I started earning 1,500 rand a month, which was for 18-year-old boy. It was back then. It was okay, But for me, the main feeling I had when I signed that day was, wow, I'm now a big man. You were a big man now. You signed your first pro deal. You're like, and I was like, wow, I'm gonna buy me this, I'm gonna buy me that, I'm gonna buy me. But then afterwards you begin to understand that you're not being paid a huge amount. So all that and dreams that you had about the car and the house and this and all that kind of stuff. No, you must be real about it. But I was excited. So yeah.
Nathan, now, Mr. Paulse, you played for Ajax Cape Town, and I said one stage you went to Sweden.
Yes.
And I don't think some of us don't know that. Most of the people, I was shocked when I was doing my small research,
Yes.
and I found that, okay, Nathan played for
Hammarby.
IF in Sweden.
Yes.
I was like, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Take us through that moment, because I don't know, when did that move happen?
Yeah.
Which season did you play there?
Yeah.
I don't know that. Take us through that moment.
So in 2007-8, Ajax sold what's the name?
Terra Fantasy.
Fateni.
Yeah.
He went to Israel. He left halfway through the season. So I was asked to step in and play as a 9, because when he was there, he was playing 9. I played behind him. So when he left, they asked me, okay, we need someone to step in as a 9. I stepped in, and then before that, half a season in 2007-8, we had finished second in the EPSA PSL. So after that season, I remember in that half a season, I scored about 13 goals in that 6 months, and then Hammarby sent a scout, to also come and observe us. Not was me, but the entire team, because we were doing well back then. And you must remember back then when Ajax is doing well, there's the scouts coming from overseas. Why? Because we're a young team. Whenever I did well, there was always young players. So the scouts always come and watch us. So we had a scout they come. But I remember what was the key game was a friendly game, not the official game. Yeah, a friendly game. There was a Swedish team who was here on a camp. They came in January 2008. They also came, and I came on as a sub in that game at Ikamva, and my first touch on the ball was a goal. I just came on to play me a through ball, I ran through, boom, shot, goal. And then after that scout, he marked me down. He was like, okay, I have to watch him. So for the next 6 months in that season, he came to come and see me play, and that just shows how long a team actually observes you first. It's not a 1 week or a month thing. They actually view you over half a season. So he watched me, and I did well. As I said, I scored 13. Ajax was still playing in the CAF Cup then, so I scored there as well. And then after that season in May 2008, they invited me for a week assessment. And I didn't know it was an assessment to like observe how I acclimatize to being in Sweden and with a new team. I thought it was a trial. So I go there. I'm tired because you must remember I was playing then for like half a season. I was playing every single game. So now after the season, a week afterwards, I get asked to fly to Sweden. It's like a 12-hour flight. And then I'm there for a week. And to me, I'm thinking it's a trial. So now I'm like, okay, but how can I show someone what I can do if I'm tired? But anyway, I give my all. I don't think I would do as well as I had hoped to, but they were impressed. I didn't know that it was an assessment, of them just seeing me as a person, how I fit into the culture, etc. After that week, they called my agent and said, okay, cool, let's do a deal. I was shocked, to be honest. Yes, I know I'd done well back home, scoring goals, but I didn't think that week I was there, I impressed them. But they were impressed, and I was like, okay, no, cool, let's do it. Because for me, I had a dream. I always said that when I'm done at Ajax, or if I feel I've achieved enough here at Ajax, I want to go abroad. I don't want to move from Ajax to a team here in SA. I want to go and experience that. So I left them, and I enjoyed it there. I was there from June 2008 until the end of 2010.
Wow, you spent so much time there.
Yeah, so it was a very nice experience. It was a first world experience, and I always tell people that I learned more about myself as a player and as a person just being there for 2 years than my entire time being watching here. So yeah.
Nathan Paulse, a Pretoria striker, now he's a head coach. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel at Makonzo TV. Follow us on Facebook. I am Senator Makonzo. WhatsApp 081 395 2152. Get me on Twitter at Makonzo TV. Now, Nathan, when you came back to Sweden, which team did you go to?
Oh, when I came back to when I came back, I joined the Ajax on a loan spell. Okay. But it's weird how it came about. I just came back for holiday, because you must remember overseas in Sweden, their league runs from April till November month.
Yeah,
not like how our league runs, and how the leagues like EPL and Spain runs from the normal August to next year
to May.
May. So for me, when I come back, I came back to South Africa at the end of November for a break. And you must remember there's about a 3-month break for the league, because you'll be at home for November, December, January, and then you go back for pre-season, and their pre-season lasts about 3 months. So for me, when I came home, I was here on a break, and then I went to the cover, to greet them and say hi to them, how they're doing, etc. And then they asked me, look, are you going to be home for the next 2 months? So I said, yes, I'll be home for the next 2 months. And they said, yeah, come and play for us on a loan spell. So I was like, hey, I'm on holiday. I'm getting paid for being on holiday because I'm a player for them. Cool, let's do it. I spoke to my team. They said, look here, our season is going to be done. All is done. I'll be home for the next 2 months. Maybe come and let's do a loan deal. So they were like, cool, fine, let's do a deal. And then I joined the Ajax on a half-a-year loan spell. And that was exciting for me, because you have to understand, if you go overseas as a player, you're now earning more money there. So, but when you come back, the way the teams view you, irrespective if it's your team that you are from, they will view you as a bigger player now, because you have been there. So for me, when I came back to Ajax and I saw how much I'm earning, so I was like, hey, no, I'm in the States, Africa. I'll stay here rather, because I'm being paid there, yes, but there it's half a tax, and it's a
Yeah.
lot more expensive. Whereas here, I can earn more. So I was like, okay, cool, let's stay, and that's how I stayed there. I didn't go, and then I went from Ajax. I went to Bloemfontein. I went there for a season, and I enjoyed it there. But yeah.
So playing for a team like a Bloemfontein Celtic that time, lot the firstly the fans
Also
singing
yes.
from the word
Yes.
go till the end of the game.
Yeah.
How's the feeling being in that field of play?
No, I mean, I can tell you that experience, that the season there was for me by far the best experience, of crowds in terms of home fans. I mean, back then you must remember, it was the older Sesa, not the
Yeah.
a new one now.
Cesar Ramabudi,
Yes,
yeah.
Ramabudi, it was the old one, where the fans would like pack it in, and they would be singing the whole game, the entire game. I mean, and then after the game, if a team won, or if you drew, you had to, the whole team had to go over to the fans.
It's like a culture now.
It's a culture, and for watching me, I had experienced that abroad. Not here at Ajax. There at Hammarby. So to have that feeling, because as a player you've always heard about it. As a player, whenever we went in to go play there for Ajax, you could feel that atmosphere. But being a part of it now was awesome. And I loved my experience there. It's a pity I never stayed there.
Yeah.
The reason why I never stayed probably was because I was on loan still. So at the end of that season, at that point, they had asked me to speak to my team abroad, and try to get out of my deal, but I couldn't. So I moved on. Yeah.
So Nathan, now you played also for Supersport United.
Yes, but I moved from Bloemfontein Celtic to Platinum Stars.
Platinum Stars,
Which
yeah,
is-
Platinum Stars. Nathan, how do you manage to move like province to province, and when you get to those teams, you just like a hand in a glove, because you played very well again in Platinum Stars.
Honestly, that was my worst experience, honestly. Because from a playing viewpoint, when I played, I did well, but I wasn't part of the plans. I don't know why. I don't know if you remember back then. There was a whole story with the head coach back then, Owen. Owen, he had an issue with I don't know, players, etc. So I was involved in that somehow. I don't know, but I didn't play as much as what I thought. Um, so yeah, but look, I enjoyed it there. I think and I took every experience as an experience. Albeit perhaps not as good as what I thought it would have been. But I enjoyed it there again. Yeah.
With issues like that, like you played in Europe,
Yes.
obviously you regarded as one of the high-profile strikers in South Africa now, and not being used as much as you expected in Platinum Stars. How did that affect you? How did you sit with that?
It wasn't easy, But I wanted to have a wife who was there for me, and yes, I would come at home angry and upset, and she would just be there for me. And look, I knew that not every team that I'm gonna go to, I'm gonna be a favorite there, or a star there, or whatever. But it's a challenge. I also know that look, as a player, you can feel if the reason why you're not playing, is like a off the field issue, and not a playing thing where you're doing your best, you're putting the effort. So for me, the only thing I could do was every day, work hard, and if it wasn't enough for whoever was in charge, then I had to accept it, you know. And but it was a tough, because, you know, I'm a how can I say, sportsman that is like I fight for the things, you know. So if I knew that I'm working my hardest and I'm still not being really rewarded, even though I can see I'm perhaps sharper than other forwards or whatever, then I will speak up, you know, because I come from a home where my dad taught me that if you're not happy with how things are, inquire, you know, ask them why you're not playing, why this, why that. But as we all know, in South African football, a player that speaks up and asks things, you know, he's seen perhaps as a bad boy, which I learned when I moved overseas is a good thing, because there they you know, advise you to, you know, inquire and to you know, ask them things, because they handle you like a pro player and not you know, a small boy. So yeah.
Yeah, on that that means now you'll have to honor your contract even if you're not happy, because
Yes.
you don't want to speak up. You have to honor your contract.
Yes.
Wait for your contract to get finished, then you leave. Did that happen to you at Platinum Stars, or you had to terminate your contract with Platinum Stars and move away?
No. I had to see it through. But it was just a 1 year deal.
1 year deal, yeah.
And then as soon as it was done, I remember still I drove away from my apartment there to actually leave now to come home, because I was done with him, and I took a picture of me driving away, and I just said thank God, you know, I can move on now. But that's the experiences that you know, encounter as a pro player. It's not all easy, you know.
So now, when you were moving from Platinum Stars, did you know exactly where you're going to?
No, I didn't know. You must know that when I left Ajax in 2010-11 to go to Bloemfontein Celtic, from then, you know, I moved to 3 teams every year. So I was at Bloem Celtic for a season, Platinum Stars, and then after Platinum Stars, I came home. I was in town for about a month, and then Supersport had a pre-season camp here.
Yeah.
You know, and then they had asked me to come down, you know, to be a part of this camp. I was there for a week. I impressed them, and then I flew up with them to Joburg about 2 weeks afterwards, and then I signed for them. That was in 2012. Yeah.
So how was it now in Pretoria? Was it different? Did you find it very differently, like how it's compared to Platinum Stars, the way things were happening? Did you find it very different? And how was the experience being in Pretoria?
Look, it was a nice one, you know. It was I knew, you know, the entire team there, because you know, half of the players playing for them at the time was from a town, so I knew them from Ajax, from having played against them. You know, I hadn't worked with Kevin Hunt yet, but I experienced that, and that's a different experience. You know, he's very old school in his approach, but look, I embraced it. I remember that season, the start of the season, we had reached the MTN final, you know, and I played in all the games, you know, up until that game, you know, and then I don't know why, for some reason, I got dropped. I mean, until this day, I still don't know why, because if you help the team get into a final, a quarter-final, semi-final, then the normal thinking is that the team that helped you they will be in the final, but that's anti, you know. So, but no, it was a good experience. I still think that if we had kept, you know, a stable side that year, Supersport would have won the MTN 8, would have won the league, and would have won the Bank Cup, because at the end of the season we were in a final again against the Chiefs. But it was a good experience, you know. I enjoyed it there.
Nathan, you've managed, you've done very well as compared to other Cape Town players playing in all these provinces that you went to. we've seen so many Cape Town players failing once they leave Cape Town. They go to play in Joburg. They just disappear like in a thin air. Wow, what was your approach to that? How did you manage all this? Because you've been so good.
No, look, I think it's a mindset. You know, I don't buy into the whole Cape Town player moves up to Joburg and he fails there because then there's an argument that players from a town go abroad and they excel. I mean, how many players do we know that's from town, that has gone overseas, that has done extremely well? I think in terms of players going up to Joburg, it's a mindset and it's a culture as well. I mean, I thought about this, you know, the other day where, you know, a Cape Town player, you know, albeit from Hanover Park, Googs, Langa, you know, Athlone, you know, he's born into, you know, a culture of a team, you know, because how we play, you know, here it's a team sport. So yes, you will have your individual player that's good, but it's still built on the whole thought of team. Whereas if you go up to Joburg, it's a culture of me, you know, and I've experienced it. It's a very me kind of industry there. You know, you can see it even now. You know that the players are bigger there. You know, they Instagrams is about them, and it's about me. And in the same way, a team has a culture like that there. So if you ask me why perhaps some players have it hard in Joburg, it's because maybe they expect that from a culture of a team, it should, you know, be built on a we and not on me. But if you go up to Joburg, you like learn quick there that it's a very fast-paced environment. You know, everyone is out for himself there. Everyone is about me and about being the star player. But at the end of the day, you must understand that football is a team sport. Yes, you will have your 2 or 3 star players, but the only way those 2 or 3 star players can shine is if it's built on the team. But that's also why you will find, you know, as soon as a Cape Town team, you know, has a very strong group and they have 2 or 3 star players, very often that team will hammer Chiefs and Pirates and all those teams because they have a very strong view of being a team. Whereas, if for example, us when we played against Chiefs, Chiefs was, you know, a group of stars, you know, not a team, you know, and we exposed that because we were players. We had a group of players and we had experienced players, but as a group we were, you know, a unit, you know, and we, you know, exposed them. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it there, and it's a mindset, you know, it's a challenge, but if you embrace it, yeah, you can excel there.
Now, Nathan, you leaving Supersport, you going back to your home, Ajax Cape Town.
Yeah, I didn't know, you know, I was going to go back to Ajax. You know, I just left Supersport and I was like, okay, let's see.
You didn't know again?
No, I didn't know again on it. You know, so you must remember, I left Supersport in 2013. You know, after the season was done, and then I came back home, and then I remember, you know, at that point, Ajax was doing badly. If I remember correctly, that season, the 2012-13 season, they had just escaped, you know, having, you know, been dropped down. You know, so after that season was done, I think, you know, they knew that they had to acquire some experienced players that has been at Ajax before. They can help them rebuild. So yeah, I approached them.
You approached them.
I approached them. I picked the phone and I said, "Hey guys, you're doing bad. You need someone like me who has been there before, who has helped the team go higher, to come and help you guys from an experience viewpoint, but also as a player." And I had a coach who had joined them the season before, Ertugrau, and he knew me well. You know, yeah, and he said, "Yes, come sign." So that's how I joined him again.
So actually, Nathan is is negotiating his own deals.
Yeah, but you learn that as you grow in this game, you learn that how to speak up, and what to say. Because I think players think that in South African football, the only time a player must speak up, is when he has to fight. It's not when you have to fight. It's when as a human and as a man, as a person, you have a viewpoint, and you can articulate it, and can speak up, and so I approached him. I said, hey guys, honestly, I mean, you have been doing well, I've done well, so yeah, let's do it. So yeah.
Moving quickly now, you won the MTN8 with them in
Yes.
2015
Yes.
in PE,
Yes.
and you scored the goal there.
Yeah.
Nathan, the PE was jam-packed,
Yeah.
packed to the rafters, and you scored the crucial goal, of which I believe you won the game with that single goal.
Yes.
How was it now? Because you're close to retirement
Yeah.
already now,
Yeah.
and you still prove that you're still one of the best strikers in South Africa.
Yeah.
You scored a penalty. How was there? How was it now that moment?
It was exciting. Honestly, I still don't think it's sunk in, because I'm not a guy to, like, after I've done something, I'm not gonna shout about it loud. I'm gonna, for the next month, I'm gonna party, or next year. For me, I'm always about, when I do something, I wanna achieve it again. So I wanna go after it again. So, but that game was amazing. Because I put it into like a story. I came back to Ajax. I told them, in actual fact, when I joined Ajax, I told the boss then, I said that I will help you win a cup again. And in actual fact, it was 2 years after I joined him that we won the MTN8. And I remember that week after the final, he came to me. He said, yeah, I remember you told me, that you back me, you will help us win. And that's for me, I love a challenge, man. I don't like just being there, existing, just being a player, earning money. I want to, make a difference, as a player or as a coach. It's what inspires me, and I put it out there because I know that I have to go after it. Because you know how it works. If you say something, you tell people you can achieve it, and you don't do it, then they turn around and say, you just want to talk a lot. But for me, I'm someone that I will tell the important people that, watch, I'm gonna do this. So yeah, it was exciting. It was amazing, and it was like a storybook kind of thing. So yeah.
So now, Coach Nathan, after a few weeks on that MTN8, where Ajax didn't do well, the death of late Seselolo, did that affect the team, or what happened to that? Because
Yes.
after that, you guys went like,
Yes, it was it affected us, but I think how we approached the MTN win, again, showed a lack of emotional intellect, in terms of how do you deal with a victory, and then use that as a platform to go and do more, not use it as a platform to pull up the handbrake and then party for the next year. And that is what I've seen, and it's people say it's the MTN8 curse, but I don't think it's that. I think it's just a lack of EQ, and being aware that as a pro player, you are paid to keep doing well. It's never a point of you paid only to play until this point. MTN8, you win, now you're going to have a holiday. No, you paid to be doing your job all of the time, and then it just got worse for us as a team, because now we had to experience a loss of a brother and a friend. I mean, he was a huge part of our team as a player and as a voice. So I think that as a team as well, I don't think we could handle it. I would say perhaps certain players in the team could, because we were a bit more experienced. But as you know, football is a team sport, so the entire group had to embrace that, and I don't think we could. So yeah.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. I am Nathan Paulse. Get us on WhatsApp 081-395-2152. I'm not alone. I'm with Nathan. So now Nathan Paulse, there's these big rumors about one of Ajax Cape Town players.
Yes.
Of which you once spoke with him, Grant, that is moving to Sundowns.
Yes.
What advice would you give Grant? Because moving from Ajax, of which we will say it's smaller than Sundowns.
Yes.
If the deal happens, what's your advice? What would you tell him to do?
Yeah, I've worked with Grant over this last 3 months through a company that I own that helps our players give them mindset tools and equips them. So I advised him already, and I think the advice that I would give him is that see this move as a platform to build yourself, to go on to bigger things. I think far too many players see a move to Joburg as a dream, whereas if you see it as a stepping stone to a bigger dream, and that is how you approach it. Also, he needs to see himself as an important part of that team. I know these people will say that he's young and he needs to fit into all these stars and all that, but you must remember each star player, had a journey. You can look at Temba Zwane, for example. He never joined Sundowns and was a star. He had to build himself. He went on loan a few times to Aces back then, but now he's a star. But I think Grant has a great attitude as a player. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if you're the world's best player or whoever. He will go in there and back himself. And he needs to keep that. On and off the field. Off the field, he's a humble man. He's quiet, but if he keeps himself the way he is, humble, but on the field he's a beast. He'll be. I think he'll be one of the key players. If he applies himself as he has done. So yeah.
Since you've mentioned now that you've got a company that you own, tell us a bit, what is the company doing? What is exactly is all about?
Yeah, okay, awesome. I started the company last year, August. It's called Starting 11 Revolution, and it's a service where we equip pro players and amateur players with the mindset tools. And the reason why I started it, is for far too long South African and African players are not equipped, in terms of how you approach this industry as a person. Yes, we expected to, be amazing on the field, but you are a human being first. How many players do we watch and know? And I'm sure if we sit here giving all players names that have amazing ability, but they haven't been able to go higher and further. It's not ability. It's how they deal with obstacles, with fame, with success, how they overcome pressures from home. So I started this born out of that experiences of having heard of how players struggle to embrace this job of being a pro. Because at the end of the day, it's not a hobby, it's a job. And that's why I say I learned far more in my 2 years overseas than I learned my entire time here, because of how they approach you. So what I've done is I've brought that thinking and experiences of having experienced how things were there, and also through my experiences playing in the PSL and of other pros as well. I've used their experiences, and we offer a course, for pros and for amateurs. We should have a group on Facebook, the Starting 11 master classes, and that's where we educate the amateur player and an amateur coach on how to think as a pro, because ability alone is not enough. And yeah, so far we have mentored about 60 players now, you know, and it's both pro players and amateurs. You know, we want to have a a team of the pros who's playing now at this point in time. So it's all guys playing in the PSL and the NFD. We have done our actual course, and they walk alongside you, you know, as a young pro or an experienced pro or amateur player. You know, they share their experiences, you know. So just an example of the actual course is that we deal with issues like identity, purpose, self-awareness, goals, how to set them, how to overcome obstacles, how to keep your form as a player at a very high state, you know, because at the end of the day, as a player, you pay to do well. But there's few players that I've played with that actually know how to trigger the form to keep it there, you know, because people think it's a feeling thing. You know, you have a good game and tomorrow you're not sure how you had the good game. So what we teach you is what mindset to adopt, you know, in your everyday life, you know, and it's been good so far. It's a unique offering. It has never been done in South Africa at all. So it's a process, but a lot more teams are inquiring now about it. So it's been a good sorry, on that we was all on Instagram and all those platforms.
So now, if someone wants to ask you some information about this,
Yes.
Where must they go? Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram, and we have a website, sxir.co.za.
Okay,
That's
okay.
sxir.co.za. Yeah.
I will put that also on my platform. Guys, that was Nathan Paulse. Don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel, Makongo TV. You must have a wonderful day, Cape Town. You must have a wonderful day, South Africa. Bye-bye.